Right, guys, we've got another rare book, and I've called this season Rare Books because this series Rare Books because some of them are rare, but some of them you just don't really see much of. Right, today we're on The Story of Life, Fate, and Finding the Lost Art of Koka Ninjutsu in Japan. A bit of a mouthful. Thin, self-published by Lulu, 2008 date. Now, the 2008 date is very important. So, this is by Daniel DiMarzio, I think. You know what? English people can never say a lot of American names because a lot of them come from a sort of Spanish, sort of Mediterranean field, and we just don't have that in England. We have Williams, Williamson, Davidson, you know, and all that. We don't seem to have the Spanish elements, and when a lot of Americans have Spanish elements, you're like, can't say that. Right, this book is both good and bad. Now, it's bad for the shortness. It's also bad for the double type spacing. It's self-published, which obviously makes it a little problematic. You know, it's not brilliant, but, you know, it's well worth putting out there. It's also some family pictures, and there's no pictures of the ninjutsu training. There's no examples of the ninjutsu training or anything like that. So this is a self-published mini diary about a man who went to Japan with trained to some ninjas. Now, if that story seems fairly familiar, then it's because it's exactly the same story as Stephen Hayes, isn't it? He went to Japan, he got a Japanese girlfriend, he studied with some ninjas and wrote a book about it. The difference here is I think Stephen Hayes has done 10,000 times better, and of course it was in the ninja boom. So Kimoto Sensei there is one of the one and only training sort of pictures in there, or the very few of anything to do with it. Now, it's good because, like, for example, two of the very few pages taken up with just two pictures of his girlfriend. You know what I mean? You're like, it's only got something like, it's got 80 pages of double typed, which means it's only 40 pages long. So two of the 40 pages are taken up with pictures of his girlfriend at a local shrine. So it really, he's done a bad job here. He's done a good idea. So, and the date of 2008 is very, very important because people think, oh, the internet was out in 2008. I was in Japan in 2004, and people have asked me about, like, pictures with Hatsumi and everything, and I didn't have a digital camera in 2004. I was literally a poor student, came over to Japan. I didn't have a digital camera. I did have a digital camera in 2006-07 when I came back, but my mother and father bought it for me. But the very first time I used it, I honestly gave it to someone in Japan. And as I gave it to them, the strap that was on the old digital cameras swung off, just landed on my finger, and as I turned around I went, oh, thank you. I was like, thank you. It pulled out of their hands and smashed on the floor. I was disappointed for about 6 months. I hate waste. So anyway, my point being is 2004, 2008, we used to go to internet cafes to get the internet. You didn't have it in your house in Japan. Very few people started getting the digital cameras together. Obviously, we still could get a camera. You just get a film camera. That's no problem. But my point being is there's no YouTube, or YouTube is just starting, I think. Facebook is just starting. There's no sort of massive, you know, like you would imagine the internet today with file sharing. So this is one of those where a guy has flown to Japan. Every couple of days or every week he goes to his emails and emails back some things and takes some pictures on probably on a film camera or maybe an early digital camera. No smartphones or anything like that. So in 2008, if you bought this was a glimpse into a world you only really saw on VHS, or you only saw on, you know, documentaries that you'd recorded on VHS, because people bought DVDs and you could no longer record onto DVD. So people forget that VHS is sort of faded out. You bought DVDs, but you could no longer record onto the DVD. So where you recorded documentaries onto VHS, you couldn't do that with DVD, or the average person couldn't. And the internet was not quite like that. You just downloaded bits and bats. So we were in a transition stage. So at the moment this book came out, this would probably be not a massive disappointment. You would think, you know, okay, there's no real good pictures of Japan. There's no real good pictures of his training. There's a bit of information about how he trained. Some pictures of his girlfriend. Like, you know, there's one Odawara Castle. Okay, I've been there. You know, there's another 2 of the 40 pictures taken up with him and his girlfriend, and him and his girlfriend's dad. What a random thing to do. His girlfriend's brother. So basically that's 5 out of 40 pages worth of writing taken up with some personal pictures that you and I don't care about one bit. But of course you got the Daibutsu. So out of 80 pages double spaced, which is about 40 pages in reality, you've got about 35 pages of writing about how he felt to be in Japan. So it is both disappointing and, at the time, a good... So the man, Daniel, if you're watching, had a great idea, but a poor execution. This should have been a better title, way more information on ninjutsu, loads of training pictures, loads of pictures of Japan. There is no limit to what you can do on a book for self-publishing. This could have been 500 pages long, of 1 million pictures of training, of all of that. The reason Stephen Hayes did well is because he had pictures of his training in, pictures of the ninja, which is what people want. So there you go, guys. Oh my God, I've just opened another page and there's another bloody set of family pictures. Jesus Christ. I think there's probably only about 25 pages worth of reading here, which probably for the whatever 10-15 quid you're going to pay for the book is really disappointing. This book was given to me by Clarence Sheets, who's an old scout. He's a student of mine from old days, and he sent this to me. So this is going to go, thank you Clarence, this is going to go in the collection. And again, it's another part of ninja history. I wouldn't recommend buying it, it's just not good enough. But if you want to, you know, if you're collecting like I am every ninja book, then get it. But Daniel, if you're still with the Bankei group, get another book out, but do it in full this time. You know, the Nindo channel is out. Get going, Daniel, if you're there. So I don't know if Daniel's still training or anything like that. Right, guys, I am doing a multiple videos a day just to get through the bloody books that I've been sent, which is awesome, by the way. I'm very, very grateful. But I've got a lot of books to get through. So we've got about another 6, I think, to go. So I'm going to try and do them. Otherwise, it takes up a week of filming. So there you go, guys. See you later.